Let me make sure my video is on. What's up, everyone? Matt Morris here. Amazingly excited. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. Trish, Ruth, what is going on? How are you guys?
Hey, Matt. Hey, Trish.
Doing great, doing great. So excited to be here.
All right, rock and roll. Well, listen, everyone, we are, I'm going to mix up the format a little bit. In the past, we've had Trish and Ruth kind of go through the first half, and I've gone through the second half. This week, we are kind of combining forces here, and we're going to go back and forth. And I'm excited about this week's content. There is a lot of information that we're going to cover with you guys. And so we're going to dive deep into the attract phase. Now, last week in week 4, we went through a lot of components to the attract phase. And of course, the attract is, if you look at our care method, there's CARE, clarity, attract, relationships, and then enroll. And so a lot of information in the attract phase. And so I hope you got your pen. You may not be able to write as fast as the slides here. So if you've got your phone handy, then definitely have that ready to take some pictures. And of course, you can watch this anytime. And before we jump in, I mean, we're essentially halfway through with the inner circle. And I just want to tell you guys, I am amazingly proud of you guys. And it has been a lot of information. It's been a lot of coaching, a lot of training. And I know that this kind of stuff can be scary. We have asked you to get out of your comfort zone. We've asked you to break through some of your fears. We've asked you to do a bunch of different exercises. And I know it can, sometimes be a little bit overwhelming. And just if you feel overwhelmed, take a deep breath. All of these trainings are archived, so you can watch them as many times as you need to. We create guides to go along with each of the trainings. And so if any of this is intimidating, I just want to tell you this. I want to kind of pre-frame the training a little bit. If I look back at my career in network marketing, as an entrepreneur, literally every breakthrough that I've had in my career has come after I felt near paralyzed with anxiety. So if you're feeling some pressure, if you're feeling some anxiety, if you feel overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, there's so much here, be patient with yourself. And if some of this, if getting out on social media is a stretch for you, then be patient with yourself. If I look again at my career, like the first time that I spoke in front of a crowd, the first time, it was only 6 people, 3 of which walked out because my presentation was so bad. I was really, really bad. But I remember the first real time, there was a crowd of probably 300. It was our weekly meeting at a hotel here in Dallas. And I had people in my group that would present, but I would never present. Like, I'd get up and give a testimony, but I was never the presenter guy. I was deathly afraid of public speaking. And my mentor said, "You're speaking this week." And I'm like, "No, I'm not." And he goes, you're speaking. You said you'd be coachable, right? I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be coachable." And so I did it. And I felt paralyzed. Like, it was nerve wracking. And I remember, like, in my speaking career, as it got to a few hundred and then 1,000. I remember the first time I spoke in front of 5,000 people, and I couldn't see anyone because there was, like, everyone was dark. It was in a stadium, not a stadium, but an arena. And I was so afraid. The first time I spoke in front of 8,000 people at a generic event, I was so, like, I couldn't sleep the night before. The first time I did a YouTube video, the first time I did a live video, I mean, at every case, I had so much anxiety. And just understand that nothing changes if you don't break through that fear. Nothing changes. Like, we remain helpless. So we basically have 2 options. One is to remain stuck, or 2 is conquer your fear and actually grow. So my prayer for you and my coaching for you is to grow. And what I want to start with here is really stepping into your power as an influencer. And I'm going to share my screen here real quick and get into the material here. So let's talk about the attract phase and stepping into your power as an influencer. Let me see if I can get this out of the way. All right, perfect. And so here's the thing. What we're talking about here essentially is becoming an influencer. And you may not have considered yourself or thought you would ever be an influencer. And when I say influencer, sometimes you think, well, that's someone who has hundreds of thousands of followers or millions of followers. And you know, I really think of it, I liken it to being a leader. You know, if you're leading one person, if you have a child, you're a leader of that child. If you have two people in your group, you're a leader of that group. If you have any amount of followers online, if you have friends online and you're putting information out there, you are an influencer. And so the question is, how do you grow that? How do you continue to grow a following? And how do you step into your power? And one of the contexts of the entire training here is that you have exactly what it takes to be a powerful influencer, to be a powerful leader. It's already inside you. It's just a matter of bringing that out. And that's part of the process. Over these 8 weeks, it's pulling out that incredible leader and that incredible influencer that's inside you. And so what I want to cover here, because I think it's just as important to know what not to do and what holds us back as it is what you should do. And so we're going to talk about 6 roadblocks to becoming a powerful influencer. Okay. And so what are the things that hold people back? And if you're equipped to overcome these, you can overcome them. And so number 1, it's the fear of looking foolish. You may be saying to yourself, you know what? I suck when it comes to social media. That's okay. If you're afraid of looking foolish, guess what? You probably will look foolish. If you haven't done a live video before, you probably will look foolish. I looked foolish on my first one. The key here is to get over yourself, because if you don't get over yourself, you end up making no impact. And here's the thing that helped me in the process. And I've seen this in so many occasions where you may stumble over your words. Heck, I still stumble over my words, and I've done well over 1,000 live videos. I still do. And even if you stumble a lot, like if you've ever thought about like someone who has the courage to get up and speak publicly and they do a bad job, you actually respect that person. And so my challenge for you is to get over the fear of looking foolish and understand that when you do that, you actually get a lot of respect, because most people are unwilling to step through their fears and actually, conquer those fears and go take action. And so by you doing that, you actually get respect. So what else holds you back? The whole thought, why would anyone want to listen to me? Okay, that's one of the things that I thought was like, well, I don't really have anything to talk about. Why would anyone want to listen to me, right? And here's the reality. Most people don't want to listen to you, just like most people don't want to listen to me. But I'm not looking for most. I'm not looking for everyone. You're not looking for everyone. You're only looking for your people. I'm only looking for my people. I understand that I'm not most people's cup of tea. I'm just not. It's okay. I don't need to be most people's cup of tea. There's thousands of people who want someone just like you to step up as a leader in their life. Understand, people are hardwired to follow. This is a lesson that I don't even remember if I've talked about here in the last few weeks, but people are psychologically wired to follow. It is part of our survival instinct to be a follower. Why is that? I've studied leadership a ton, human nature a ton. We're hardwired to follow. It's a survival instinct, because if it weren't for our parents who led us as babies, who led us as little children, we would not be alive. So understand that people out there, in most cases, they're hardwired to follow. People are starving for leadership. They're starving for someone they resonate with. And listen, you're not going to resonate with everyone, just like I don't resonate with everyone, and I don't need to resonate with everyone. I'm only looking for my people. So you're looking for your people. So there are people who are going to resonate with your message. So if you're shy, that's why people will resonate with you, because they're shy too. Maybe you've struggled. That's why people will resonate with you, because they've struggled too. Maybe you've battled depression. That's why people will resonate with your message. Maybe you struggled with a divorce. That's why people will resonate with you. Maybe you failed in business. That's why people will resonate with you. Maybe you think you're too old. That's why you're a powerful leader. Maybe you think you're too young and no credibility. That's why you'll resonate with people. Maybe you think you look goofy. That's the reason why you should do it. I'm thinking of one of the most powerful social media influencers out there. He's one of the goofiest looking guys I know of, but he's very relatable. He relates to people because he's out there, and regardless of the fact that he looks goofy, he does it anyway. Okay. So what else? You don't know what to say. This, hopefully by the end of this session, that will certainly be eliminated. Next is social media trolls. I mean, the reality is the trolls will never go away, right? They are just going to be there. So what do I mean by a troll? A troll is someone when you post something and they comment on it and they call you an idiot. They call you names. Like, I literally had a troll. It was yesterday. I'm checking social media and someone posted something like, my girl must be a gold digger because I look like a crackhead. Like, that was yesterday. I had someone comment that. So what do? You hit block, okay? I have a block list a mile long. So understand that the trolls are part of the game. They're inevitable, okay? Ladies, you are going to get inappropriate messages from guys more than likely. It's just going to happen. I mean, there was a young lady that I coached and, she started doing live videos and all of a sudden her DMs start filling up with guys saying inappropriate things. And so she stopped until we had a conversation, and she's like, and here's the coaching I gave her. It's the same coaching I'm going to give you. Are you going to sacrifice your success because someone has an opinion? Are you going to sacrifice the impact you're going to make in the world because someone says something inappropriate? People are going to say something inappropriate. If it's not you, it's going to be someone else. And here's the thing with trolls. You can't fix a troll. You're not going to change the opinion of a troll. And by all means, don't feed the troll. If you get in and you start arguing, if you get into messages or in the comment thread, you're giving them exactly what they want, which is their warped way of getting significance and attention. It's just like a child. A child misbehaves because they want attention from mommy or daddy. Your job is not to be mommy or daddy. Block and move on. Again, my block list is a mile long. And here's the reality. I want you to remember this. If you're not willing to be ridiculed by a few, you're never going to be admired by thousands. It's just the reality of the situation. Someone's going to ridicule you. And in the grand scheme of things, the trolls, the haters, the naysayers are microscopic compared to the number of lives that you're going to impact. So are you really going to let a few trolls prevent you from making the impact in the world that you know you can impact? And hopefully the answer is no. So just understand, if you haven't had the trolls, they're coming. And you got to be okay with it. Accept what is. There's a quote to write down. Accept what is. Number 5 is a consumer versus a producer mindset. So a consumer mindset, the vast majority of people on social media have a consumer mindset, meaning you waste hours and hours and hours every single week, sometimes a day, scrolling through and consuming social media. So becoming an influencer is about shifting that mindset and having a producer mindset, meaning you produce the content for the consumers. Okay. So start adopting a producer mindset. Okay. It's not that you're not going to scroll through, but you can be intentional as you scroll through. Okay. Number 6 is a lack of consistency. And I think this is one of the biggest killers. And I'm telling you, like, if I had to predict, like, what is it that's going to take you out of the game? Like, you can get over the troll thing. You can maybe get over this thing of looking foolish. You can figure out what to say. Like, we're going to teach you all that. That's it. That's interesting. Or that's easy, right? But it's a lack of consistency. You post every day for a week and then you stop because of whatever the reason is. Like, oh, no one's watching. No one's commenting. No one's signing up in my business. And that was me in the beginning. It was like, I do a video and it's crickets, a live video and it's crickets. Okay. And I'm going to give you what I believe is the number one secret It's been my number one secret to building a following on social media, number one secret to producing sales, enrolling people. And it's 3 words. Write these down. Consistently add value. That's it. Consistently add value. So what is it that makes an influencer successful? Well, they consistently add value, but essentially they show up, right? They just show up. Consistently, they show up. So if you don't feel like it, show up. If you're self-conscious, show up anyway. If you don't know what to say, show up anyway. If you're having a bad day, guess what? Show up anyway. Okay. So next, if I can get my computer to work, what we're going to go through is 5 simple steps to attract prospects in your business.
Awesome. That was so great, Matt. And it's so funny as you're naming off every one of those. I'm like, yep, how to do that, how to do that. I remember the trolls, and I know we've got lists a mile long too. So it's just part of the game, and I love it. So 5 simple steps to attract your prospect. The first one are value-based posts. So we're going to go into this and give some examples of these here in a minute, but you've got to think about what is value and how do you use it to attract people. And you can do value in multiple ways, and we'll be diving into a little bit more here in just a minute on that one.
And the second thing we're really going to dive into is live video. Now, you may be sitting there holding on to your chair going, don't make us do it. But we're going to give you some really good tips, techniques, strategies to get those videos out there that really attract.
The third thing we're going to cover are stories, which are one of the hottest things on social media right now. We're going to show you how to use them to feature and share your business or products, and different types and all different ideas that you can use along the way as well.
And then we're going to dive into attracting people through the use of hashtags. So we're going to spend a little bit of time on hashtags to help you understand how to use them effectively.
And then lastly, tonight, we're going to cover targeted Facebook groups. And this is going to teach you how to really connect with your ideal prospects in the right Facebook group so that you're attracting the right people. Just like Matt said, it's not about most, it's about the ones who are really, you're attracting your vibe, those people who really resonate with you.
So we're going to go into some examples of these 5 different strategies. And the first strategy coming up is value-based posts. So what does value-based posts mean? Well, let's go back to one of the beginning sessions that we had where we talked about the avatar and really understanding what the avatar's problems are, what their struggles are, and who you want to be for that person. So value-based posts can look like things like helpful tips to solve your avatar's biggest problem. Now, maybe that problem is a business problem. So you could be giving them a couple of business tips in your content, in your posts, in your live video. Maybe your avatar, is a product user. So let's say you have some health and wellness products. There's a lot of weight loss products out there. You could give some tips on how to lose belly fat. Here's 3 tips on how you can effectively use belly fat. Well, your potential product user is certainly going to be interested in those tips, right? So when you become a valuable resource for your prospect, they start to see you as the go-to person, right? When they see that content over and over again, you're always giving helpful tips, they're going to remember you. You're going to become top of mind when they start thinking about that problem, like, oh, my pants are too tight, I got to lose this belly fat. Oh, I remember that person. They were talking about that. So you will be top of mind. The next way is motivational and uplifting quotes. And if you think about it, in the world we live in today, there's a lot of stress out there. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things in the news. There's a lot of things happening in people's lives and their families. So being that uplifting, motivating person is certainly going to attract a lot of people. And I know even on my own social media, I think some of the highest engaging posts are the ones that give people motivation. So they get a lot of shares, a lot of comments, a lot of likes, a lot of interaction, because it makes people feel good, right? And who doesn't want to feel good? And the last one is really educational posts that help people gain a deeper understanding of something they're trying to learn. So let's say, let's say your ideal prospect is trying to learn internet marketing or social media marketing. So really diving into some social media tips to help that person understand that could attract them to you. Same goes for the products, right? Giving some education around a particular product. And in the example we used, why this product would help with belly fat. And you could talk about the ingredients, how to use it, when to use it, and some results. So educational posts really position you as an authority in the topics that you're talking about and can really add value to your audience. So bottom line, value-based posts are really about, people seeing you as a valued resource. And think about it. I mean, think about why you follow Matt. He's a huge, valuable resource as you're trying to build your network marketing business, right? So become that valued person so you rise as an authority and you're top of mind when they start thinking, I need a little help with this. Let me go check out that person's social media. I know they have some content that will help me.
Love that.
All right. And so one of the things I want to talk about is just how to never run out of posting ideas. Like we know that's one of the things that holds people back. So we wanted to make sure we overload you with resources. So that is literally never an issue for you. So one of the things that you have access to, whether you purchased it before you joined the Inner Circle family or not, you have access to our 365-day content calendar. Now, this is fully editable. When we created this, we went through literally every single day of the year, and there's an idea for you. Now, some of those ideas aren't going to jive with you, and it's why we created a social media cheat sheet. And so it's got 66 different post ideas, literally tons of ideas. And so those are a couple different resources. If you don't have the login for that, if you don't know how to access it, shoot an email to support@mattmorris.com and the team will make sure you have the login. And so those are a couple of resources, right? And the other thing here's what I encourage is create a note in your phone. I'm going to see if I can pull it up here and I'll just show you what I do. Okay. And so this is, if you can see this, it says topics at the top. It may be a little too small, but it's topics. And so I create a note in my phone. And what happens is as I scroll through here, these are all topics for live videos. Okay. So you can see I'm scrolling. Like I will never suffer from a lack of content on live videos because I have a note, right? So, I mean, there is a lot of information. So like, how does he come up with content every day? Well, I have a list and I'm just going to give you my strategy. And, this goes back to something I learned from Tony Robbins many years ago called the reticular activating system. The RAS is a portion of your brain that basically acts as a filter. So we know we have like billions of bytes of data coming into our mind. Like every single day, we have tons of things. Like in my room, like just in my office here, there's a light and there's a whiteboard and there's stuff on the wall and there's all these things. My brain essentially has to filter it out. You'd go crazy if you had all of this input coming in. And so your RAS is a filter, right? And so if you want to open up the filter, and I'll give you an example. So have you ever bought, like, every time I buy a car, it's kind of like this, like I have a Cadillac Escalade, right? And I never really notice a lot of Cadillac Escalades until I buy one. And all of a sudden, now that I own a Cadillac Escalade and I have it's like top of mind awareness, what do I see everywhere? I see Cadillac Escalades everywhere. And so if you're struggling with a lack of content, it's because you haven't opened up that part of your brain. How do you open it? You make it a priority and you start thinking about it. You create a list. And so one of the topics here is ILT. So that's invest, learn, and then teach. So when you're reading a book, whatever the book may be, here's a book that I bought, I haven't read yet. It's called Unscripted. So when I read this book, I am going to be taking notes. Like we have one of our daily power rituals, which is our learning stack. So you're going to read 10 pages of a book every day, or an audio, 30 minutes of an audio or a video. You're going to write down the most important points on it so you remember it. Now, when I'm reading for me, but I'm also reading for those that I train. And so every time I read a book, I get an idea for a live video. It might be a book on leadership. I'm like, ooh, this would be a great idea for a live video. Now, I have a lot of awareness because I'm training myself every day to think about a new topic. And so most days that go by, I can easily come up with something new to add to the list. So invest, learn, and teach. The other thing is like in creating awareness, it's just coming up with ideas based on what's happening with your life. So stories about your life, like my daughter and I, we just went to Key West for her birthday and my birthday, right? And so we had, I'm just making this up on the spot, but when was it? Saturday. We had Saturday during the afternoon, I was like, you know what we should do is we should go jet skiing. And she was like, no, she was afraid to go jet skiing. She had never done it before. And so she was afraid. And I was like, well, sweetie, and like, basically I sold her, I influenced her, I led her into believing it would be a good decision. And so I was like, listen, you'll ride behind me. It's super safe. Daddy's done it a bunch of times. It's a ton of fun. We're going to go all the way around the island. We're going to see lots of cool stuff. What do you say? And she's like, okay. And she was really nervous about it. That morning when we got up, she was nervous about it. And then we did it. And at the end of the day, when we're flying home, I asked her, I said, hey, what was your favorite part of the whole trip? Guess what it was? It was jet skiing. So the thing that she feared the most was her most favorite thing. Like that's a lesson that I could talk about in a live, just based on something that happened with my life. And so start being aware about the things that happen in your life, your kids, other people, current events. Like just off the top of my head, I remember thinking like this guy came to my house. We sold, I don't even remember what we sold something on Facebook Marketplace, and this couple came, and as I'm carrying it out with this guy, he I guess had looked up online to what I do or something like that, and he said something like, man, I want to make money the lazy way like you. And I just laughed, and I just thought, I didn't even say anything. I think I said, well, I wish I could make money the lazy way, but I actually work really hard. And that was it. But I just kind of let it go. But I used that the very next day. I used that in my content on That's People's Mindset, is like, if you wish you could make money the lazy way, you're never going to make money, period. You're not going to be wealthy if you have the attitude of being lazy. So I turned that experience into a story. TV shows, movies, like I watched with my kids the other night, it was a little while ago, The Never Ending Story. And as I'm watching The Never Ending Story, I've got my phone with me with my notes open because I had watched it before. And I was like, I know there's like a personal development message in here. I don't know what it is. And I was like, it came up on the screen and I was like, oh, like I had paused and rewinded it and watched it again because it was such a good message that I sent out to my list. Okay. So your struggles, like what are the struggles that you've been through? Like you can talk about current struggles that you're in, but no one wants to hear a victim story. People want to hear a victor story, right? So most of the struggles that I talk about are struggles that I've been through. I've overcome the struggle. I'm past it. Like I'm not in victim mode. I'm telling that struggle story from a place of power. Okay. The other thing I'll encourage you to do is create your own posting categories. Okay. So these are kind of the overall overarching categories that I have for my posts. So one is MLM training. Now, if you're building an MLM organization, MLM training may not be your thing. It's my thing because I sell coaching and books and courses to the network marketing professionals. I didn't always do that. Now, as I started growing as a leader and I had a really powerful story, even though I wasn't selling MLM coaching and trading, I would still give MLM tips because I would have people in MLM companies who would watch all my YouTube videos. And if they decided they weren't happy with their company and they were leaving and they were looking for a home, who did they call? They called me. So I ended up sponsoring a bunch of leaders because I was giving so much value in the marketplace. Okay. Motivational. That's one of mine, is quotes, images, anything that I see is going to be motivational. That's going to uplift people. That's one of my categories. Leadership is a big category of mine. I talk a lot about leadership. Why do I talk about leadership? Is I want to attract someone who is excited about growing as a leader. That's my ideal avatar, is someone who wants to grow as a leader. Personal development, someone who's into personal development, someone who understands the importance of personal development. So I do a lot of training. It may not be MLM training or leadership training. It may be overcoming fear. I'm going to put stuff out there because it's consistently adding value and it attracts the person that I really want. Now, I also put out some infographics that are usually like entrepreneurial based. Okay. It might be like top 10 entrepreneurial movies, different things like that. Family is a big one of mine. If you were following my story, for instance, over this past weekend, you would have seen a bunch of stories of me and my daughter on our birthday trip. Okay. Another one is lifestyle, travel, and adventure. So that's something that I'm passionate about. And that's one of my categories. Okay. For you, it might be skincare. It might be travel. If you're in a travel company, you might focus on a lot of travel stuff. If you're in a health and wellness company, it might be a lot of nutrition. If you have a product that helps with weight loss, it might be weight loss tips. Like that may be one of your categories. So my coaching to you is create your own categories. Okay. Have maybe 5, 6, 7 different categories that you just know, like these are my categories. This is something that I should rotate through. Okay. Now, what I want to transition here to is crushing it with live videos. Now, I'm just going to tell you, live video has been my single most powerful social media strategy. Nothing has built my social media following more than live video. It is arguably the single most powerful social media tool. Nothing creates more engagement than live video. Nothing works better for the algorithm than live video. Nothing builds credibility and positions you as an authority more than live video. And here's the thing, it positions you as an authority because most people honestly are too scared to do it. So some people are like, well, like everyone knows about live video, but almost no one still does it. Like from a percentage standpoint, it is a tiny little percentage. Live video still works amazingly well. Okay. Nothing builds trust more than live video. I mean, we've all heard it. People do business with those they know, like, and trust. And so when you open yourself up on live video and you're sharing yourself, it builds an incredible amount of trust. Way more than text-based post, way more than image-based post, more than anything else that you can do, because you're putting yourself out there. You're being vulnerable, right? You're not hiding anything. And people are always thinking like, oh, I got to have the right lights and I got to have the right setup. Some of my best live videos have been me with bedhead, like just me like being real. Like not in a crazy nice location. Like ideally you're going to have lights and all kinds of, like you're going to have lights and you'll be in a cool environment, but that stuff really doesn't matter that much. The key is actually doing it. Now, nothing builds communication skills more than live video, right? If you want to become a master communicator, if you want to get really good at communicating and speaking, live video is going to accelerate that more than anything else that I know of. Okay. Now let's go through 5 steps to crush it with live video.
All right. Well, the first step that you're going to go through is your headline. So this one is really, really important because you've got to make sure that it's bold and catchy, right? People get on social media, they're scrolling through, right? They got to go, you want to stop the scroll. And so you've got to have something that's going to jump out at your viewer. And one of the things that I have found, honestly, is, you know, when you can solve someone's problem, if you put something that's, that's just, it's not always the the 3 tips to make something better. Sometimes it's the 3 reasons why you're not something, right? Like people really like that negativity. Don't know why, but they do. But the great thing is in your video, that will typically grab their attention. And then obviously you can put your positive spin on it. But just understanding that a positive title won't always get you as much or as many viewers as sometimes a negative title will. Now, it's great though to test out your audience and see what they like, but you'll find whatever it needs to be, it needs to have some kind of catchiness to it. Like if you're just, putting something generic, what I like to do on the weekends, nobody's going to stop, right? But if you put something about, oh my gosh, you're never going to believe, what happened this weekend, most people are going to stop because they're going to want to know what it is that happened to you. So your goal really is, like I said, to catch their eye and stop that scroll. Oh,
I loved what you said there, Trisha, about curiosity, because I noticed a great one on Matt's Facebook page where he said, MLM is like blank a blank. So you've got to watch that video to find out what those blanks are. So those kind of catchy headlines are really great to get your viewers to watch. So the next one is intention. Okay, so what is in it for your viewer? So you've got to let them know right away what they're going to receive from that video, right? And a lot of times I see people when they're starting their video, they're like waiting for people to come on and they're, oh, I'll give it a couple minutes till people pop on. You're going to lose viewers so quickly that way because you've got about 3 seconds to catch people's attention. So in those first 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, you're going to want to let people know what's in it for them and why they should stick around and watch till the end. So let them know right away. And then you can do a quick introduction of yourself. You can go, hey, I'm Ruth, and a little bit about you, but you want to keep that part short. People don't, it's going to sound awful. People don't really care about that part. What they do care about is what's in it for them. So don't make it like your 30-second story and go into this great dialogue about who you are and what you've done in your life. Keep it super short so that people stay longer. And the longer people watch your video, the more Facebook or Instagram or wherever you are posting live video will push it out to more people because they're going to take a look at it and go, oh, wow, people are liking this video. They're watching it, 3/4 of the time or to the end, and they're going to push it out to more people. So don't go into a big dialogue about yourself. Let them know that you've got a great offer for them at the end if you're having a call to action in your video. So that's another little hook that will allow people to stay around long enough to see what it is you're offering. And it could be, a free PDF or, a free 15-minute strategy call, or, there are a number of calls to action. We talked about them last week, but, let them know what they're going to get at the end so they stay around long enough.
Ruth, I love how you shared about the making it only 3 seconds at the beginning, because when you get started on social media, guys, it could be a long time before you start having viewers. So if you're waiting around for viewers, you might be waiting for a while and nobody's going to wait that long. So you really do need to jump on. And plus in today's time, there are people all over the world watching your videos. So most people are watching most videos on replay. So just understand that just because someone's not live doesn't mean it won't get watched. The next step is interacting. And this one is really important, especially if you do have some viewers on live, but even if you don't, this is really good because again, the more people are watching the videos and the more you interact, you're going to most of the time give them something. For instance, like if you're doing a video, you say, if you agree, drop me a 4 below, or, you're giving some kind of a call to action right in the video. And when you do that again, as people go through it and watch it, Facebook is going to bump your stuff up in the algorithm. But the other thing is, if you do have people on live, you want to make sure that you're saying hi to them. You want to be able to give them a shout out. You want to know where they're joining you from. And that's really important because that's part of building the rapport with people. It started, you're really starting to build that know, like, and trust. And you'll find that as you really start getting people and you're consistent, with being on there, you'll start having a lot of the same viewers. They feel like they know you after a while, and they show up just because it's you. So it's really nice. The next thing is you want to be asking your viewers questions, right? So asking questions that are related to what it is you're talking about. So, if you're going in and you're, talking about weight loss, let's just use that. It's always so simple. You can talk about, who needs to be losing weight, drop below if you need to lose weight. How much do you need to be losing? And as people start to comment, you can go back and start having that conversation with them. And again, now they feel like they're part of it, even though it's alive, you're not in person with them, they still feel like they're part of it with you. And then this is really, really important. Make sure that after you do your live that you go back and invest some time and engage with all the comments, right? Like and love every single comment and write something back to that person. Again, it's going to boost the algorithm for Facebook and allowing more people to see it. But two, it's going to get people coming back to watch you again, because when you took the time to actually answer their question or just interact with them, that'll mean something to people. And again, that really starts to build that know, like, and trust even more.
Yeah. And one of the things that is just an interesting point, someone talked to me, a guy that owns an advertising agency taught me this. He said, you got to think about how the social media channels make money. Like, how does Facebook make money? So they make money through serving up ads, right? And so if your live video is getting a lot of people engaging, it's saying like, okay, well, a lot of people are commenting, we like this, let me send it. Let's show it to more people, because it creates more engagement. People like it. And the more that people stay watching this person, the more ads that we can show. Here's a big point is in the comments afterwards, create conversations, ask questions in the comments. So ask questions live, but also ask questions in the comments. Like, someone is like, you haven't seen in a while. Hey, John, in the comments. Hey, John, how have you been? ? So what happens, here's what Facebook really loves, is when he comments, he gets off Facebook and then he sees a message, a notification on his phone that says, Matt Morris responded to your comment. So he clicks that, he goes back to Facebook and gets served another ad. So Facebook made more money. They really like your live now. So they're going to show it to even more people, because they're like, ooh, this live video, if we show it to more people, we're going to make more money because more ads are going to be served. So if your social media posts can get people who leave Facebook or Instagram to come back to it, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it, the algorithm starts really loving you. So that's a quick point.
Great points. I love it.
The next step is to inform. So again, give them value, not just fluff in your videos. So give them tips that, that they can get value from, some strategies, some tools, whatever it is that's going to give value to your avatar, to your audience. Let them know, again, what they're going to expect in the video. You could share a story that'll connect them and inspire them, right? So that's a great way to connect with your audience. The more you can connect, the faster you build know, like, and trust, and get them to be thinking me too. And that's the power of stories. Like Matt mentioned in the beginning, not everyone is going to be attracted to you. But when you share your story, right? When you share your story of maybe you were divorced, maybe you're a mom, maybe you're a dad of, a couple of kids, maybe you work in a power plant somewhere and you're doing the grind, maybe you're in corporate. So when people hear those stories of struggle and the stories of possibility and hope and triumph and victory, they're going to say, me too. And it's really powerful in video format, because when people can hear your voice and they can see your facial expressions, they can see your hand movements, they can see your body language, it's just that much more powerful of a connection than a written word. So that's why stories in videos can be so important for developing that know, like, and trust and connection. You can share something that's working for you right now. So that's the story of triumph. And lastly, on this point is be human. So I always say that the perfect video is the imperfect video, because when people see it, they go, wow, she's just a regular person, or he's just a normal guy. And it helps create belief in themselves that they can do whatever they set out to do, whether it's lose weight or build a business or have better skin. When they see your video of you just being human, being yourself, being your real true self and sharing, it creates belief in others, and it becomes so much more powerful.
I love that. And, one of the things, it's like the word that comes to mind, and it's one of my personal virtues, is authenticity, right? And so understand you don't have to present yourself as this perfect person. I mean, I joke around from time to time about relationships, right? And so I'm like, you know what? I'm divorced. Getting relationship advice from me may not be your best advice, but let me tell you this, right? I'm not afraid of sharing my flaws. I'm not afraid of sharing my mistakes. It's what makes it's what makes you real, right? So to be an influencer, the ideal influencer isn't Mr. or Mrs. Perfect. It's someone who's really authentic that someone can connect to.
Love that. All right. And the fifth is to invite. So this one's really, really important because people need to know what to do, right? And so you're going to do that call to action. And most live videos, you're probably going to put a call to action in, but there might be some that you don't. You don't have to put one in every, video. We talked about this a little bit last week. But truly, people need to be told what to do. They don't just go do it on their own. And if you guide them to where you want them to go, or have them do what you want them to do, it's going to allow them to see more of your content. But also, it allows you to influence them a little bit more. If you tell people, a great call to action is letting people, say I'm in, or drop me more info, or drop me a favorite, a GIF, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, for more information, right? Get creative with it. It doesn't always have to be just a more info or an I'm in. Like, you really can have fun with it. And in fact, it's funny when maybe some of you guys have seen before where people have done those posts that says, drop in, the 10th picture on your, photo album that you did, doesn't matter what it is. You see some really crazy photos, right? And it really starts to create conversation. But by doing this, what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to know which people are really connecting with you, so that you know who to follow up with. And the great thing about that is the people who you're following up with, again, Facebook, that algorithm, it's going to love it, or Instagram, any of them really, they're going to love that. And they're going to make sure that those people see more of your information, that they see more of your content. So that's super important as well. Also, another great call to action you can do is, if you got value from today's training, drop a value below. That's one I put into every single training, whether I'm having them do any other call to action or not. Because one, you're going to know who's been sticking around till the end. It's going to allow you to know, but also you're going to know whether they really took something away from it, because knowing what content somebody likes is going to help you also put out more content. And that's, when you're deciding between different ones to do, if you're like, well, gosh, every time I talk about this topic, I get, a lot more, likes and shares and whatnot, just a lot more interaction. Well, then that might be a really good one for you to do again. So knowing whether people stick around and whether it's provided value. And then obviously always telling people to like and share your video with a friend if they got value from it. That's huge, because it's going to allow you to get more eyeballs on your content organically. I love how it says that, because it's not just about doing the paid ads. Like, they are great and they work well when you know how to do them, but you want to get as many people seeing it for free, right? The more people who you can get on there seeing it for free is incredible, because one, it doesn't cost you anything, but two, it means people really liked your information as well. And you're going to know who liked it, because you can see who shared the information when you have it out there. So that's another great way. And one that, a lot of people forget a lot of times is doing that like and share. So doing that one will definitely get your information in front of more people.
Yeah. And one of the things that I try to do in almost every live video that I do is I'll say like, hey, if you're getting value from this, hit that share button. And if you do decide to share it, in the comments below, just put the word shared so I can give you a shout out. So understand, people love to get shout outs. They love to be recognized. And so I want to reward them for, sharing it. And so as I'm watching the video, and I'll be honest, I'm not the best at like reading all the comments. It still to this day, after doing more than 1,000, I still get distracted reading the comments while I'm training, but I kind of look for shared, right? And if I see it, I'll just stop mid-sentence. I'll go, hey, Sandy, thank you for the share. And then I continue. And other people see that and they're like, oh, Sandy got a shout out. Let me share it. Okay, shared. And then that'll spur others. So you'll always get more shares if you ask people to share and if you tell them to put in the comments that they shared it. Now, this is really important, is afterwards, if someone shares it, go back and send them a message. Hey, thank you for sharing. Now, Trisha mentioned that you can see, even if they didn't write shared, you can see who shared it. You can send them a message. Hey, thanks so much for sharing my video. What did you like best about it? And you can start a conversation, especially if it's someone that you didn't know. I mean, I've started so many conversations just by proactively sending someone a message, being grateful that they shared the message. So that's something that I think is often overlooked.
I love that, Matt. And I think it's true for asking people if they got value to post value below, because you can have that same conversation. Hey, I saw you got some value. What did you like best? What resonated with you? And it's all about creating those conversations that go on and on.
Yeah, there we go. And another thing is just to be aware and I'm speaking to myself as I'm speaking to you, is be aware as you're going through and you're saying things, any opportunity to tell them to comment, like, hey, if you relate to this, drop me an I relate in the comments, right? And you're talking, you make a point about something, and if you agree, put yes. Anything to get more comments. Again, the more comments, the more the algorithm likes it. And so we want to, our goal is to get as many comments as possible.
So we have some bonus tips. Number one, use notes. So if you're brand new and you're nervous about doing your Facebook Live, literally you could have like a little Post-it note stuck on your phone with some bullet points. And that's going to give you some comfort that you're not going to freeze and not know what to say. And I got to tell you, I still use notes even to this day. I always have bullet point notes. And sometimes I show people I have notes because I want to be human, right? It's like, hey guys, I think this topic's really important. I made 5 bullet points here and I'll show them my notebook. So use notes. It'll help with the flow. It'll likely help you feel less nervous because you've got your notes in front of you. Show up with energy, right? So show up, we always say show up as you plus 2 or you times 2. So be yourself, be your authentic self, be who you are, but show up with a smile and show up with some energy. So funny, I was watching a live the other day and I didn't know the person. I was just scrolling and looking at what people are up to on social media. And I saw someone there with an energy product doing a live and they were like, I got this energy here and it is like a bomb. Like, I don't want to take that. So show up with energy. It'll attract people and it'll make people feel good. It'll lift them up when they see your energy.
Yeah. And I had a mentor over 20 years ago said that, when you're on the phone, you're doing any type of training, speaking, you need to show up as more excited. Like if you feel like on a scale of 1 to 10, you're a 10, you're not really a 10. You're more like a 7. Show up as feel like a 12. So you show up as a 10. And so I've tried to implement that, and smiling, like it just works. Like one of the ways, like what I said earlier, my 3 words that have been the biggest key to my success on social media has been those 3 words. If you remember the 3 words, put it in the comments below. See, that's me asking you for engagement. Okay. Consistently add value. Okay, one of the ways that you add value is smiling. It makes people feel good. So when people are watching your video, people will mirror you. And so if you're smiling, people will start smiling themselves. When you smile, it creates chemicals in your body that actually make you happier. Okay, this is science. Okay. Smiling at people adds value. It makes them more happy. So, and I went and I pulled this up. So this is my, live rig. I paid, I think, $39 for this. You don't need a lot of professional lights. Like I have a couple semi-professional lights that I use, but this is where I do most of my lives. Now, if you've got natural light and you can just like use the natural light from the window, right? You don't need anything super fancy. Again, this is like $39. It's like 6 feet. It's, I don't know, I got it on Amazon, and it's got 2 little ring lights and, a place for 2 phones. And I have my notes here. Okay. So I typically have my standard where it's just I don't have to read it too much. I just still have it taped here, but I have my standard. Hey, it's Matt Morris at mattmorris.com. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to be talking about this topic. I'm going to explain this, and this. And then I'll say, as you guys hop on, let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. Give me your city, your state, your country. Let me know if you're watching this live or on the replay. And listen, if this is the first time that you've seen me on a live, drop the word new so I can welcome you to the broadcast. And so as I'm talking, sometimes I'll see new and I'll be like, hey, John, thanks for tuning in. After, I'll typically go back, and after I'm done, if I see someone that put new, I'll just say, hi, John, thanks for tuning in. Right? So I'm rewarding them for watching the first time. They're like, oh, wow, this person actually, they comment back. They're more likely to come watch again if you engage with them. Okay. And then I'll say the share. So listen, if you get some value out of this and you feel like some others will get some value too, hit that share button and let me know in the comments that you shared it so I can give you a shout out. Okay. And so I have that, that's my format. I just have it written here. And at the end, I say, listen, if you got value out of this, if you want some additional coaching, hop over to mattmorris.com, put your name and email address in, and you'll get near daily tips on success. And that's it. Right. And so that's typically my call to action at the end, is to go to my website, join my email newsletter. Okay. So next, I want to talk about using Kaizen to get ridiculously good on video. So what is Kaizen? Kaizen is the Japanese art of continuous and never-ending improvement. So here's what I know is true. I can get way better on live video. Yes, I've done over 1,000. I can be way better than I am now. So I'm preaching to myself as I'm preaching to you. These are some things that I've done over and over and over and over to get better and better and better on video. Okay. Do I still do it as much as I should? No, but it has made me much more powerful. So first, watch your live videos after you're done. And you've engaged in the comments. So when your live video is done, here's my standard process. My live video is done. And unless I'm just jetting off to the airport or something, I'm going to take 5 minutes and I'm going to engage in the comments. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for sharing. Someone tunes in. I'll give them a couple hands up. I'll, give them a fist bump. And I typically match their energy, right? So if they give me a fist bump, I'll give them a fist bump back, or 2 fist bumps back, right? If they say, this was so amazing, I really love this, I'll go, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Where are you from? Okay. I could go to their profile and see where they're from, but I want them to comment again. So I might ask where they're from. Okay. And so that's what I do immediately afterwards. Then watch the video that you just did. And it is difficult, right? It's hard sometimes watching yourself. I still to this day sometimes cringe a little bit about my videos, and I've done so many of them. It's just the way it is. But if you'll watch it, you want to look for crutch words, what I call filler words. And so these are words like, one of mine was, this is something that I've had to break myself of. I probably still do it, but as I'm talking, I say something and then I go, and then I say something else, that's a crutch word. It's a filler word. The word the word literally. It's okay to use the word it's okay to use the word literally, but if you're using it every other sentence, it's a filler word. Guys, if you're saying guys all the time, it kind of can be annoying if you're saying the same words over and over. I would never, I would coach you never use the word people. So, hey, people, like if you've got just a crazy, outlandish personality, maybe you can get away with it, but most people, it turns them off when you call people people, okay? The word so you say something, so something else, so anyway, well, right? You're finishing everything that you say, right? Okay, these are filler words. Instead of filler words, embrace the pause. So a pause can be very powerful. And it is something I've had to learn how to do because I don't really like silence. It's one of the things I train on in closing. There's the 4-second rule. Okay, the average person, in order to spend several $100s, it takes them 4 to 8 seconds to make a decision to spend several $100s. 4 to 8 seconds. It's not very long, but 4 to 8 seconds of silence is difficult for salespeople. The average salesperson won't allow more than 2 to 3 seconds of silence before they interrupt. So literally what happens, see, I just used the word literally. What happens is they ask a buying question like, hey, are you ready to get started? Because you and I working together would be really amazing, right? This is not a closing training here, but understand that you need to be okay with some silence. Silence is better than just throwing in a filler word. Here's the last one. Be willing to be bad. Be willing to be bad. I don't know anyone who was ridiculously good on video without being bad first. It is just part of the process. So what are the biggest internal challenges when it comes to being great on live video? And listen, they are all internal challenges. There is no external challenge. So you might be making something up like, oh, I don't know what to talk about. That's really an internal challenge. You don't like the way you sound. No one likes the way you sound, right? I don't like how I look. A lot of people don't like how they look. I don't know what to say. That's just an excuse. What if I freeze up? You might. What if I suck? You might. You probably will. Go do it anyway. See, I know there's going to be a lot of you who are going to discount live video and you're not going to make it a part of your regular strategy. But I promise you, listen, you guys are part of the Inner Circle family and I owe it to you to give you what I really believe. If you skip live video, you are doing yourself the biggest disservice imaginable. See, I am a believer that one of the biggest secrets to success is modeling. Figure out what successful people do it, and you can have success yourself. The top influencers in network marketing have crushed it with live videos. If you look at many of the top distributors out there, many of the top speakers, trainers, like Eric Worre is probably the #1 speaker, right, in network marketing. How did he build his whole following? He built it all through live video. Same thing with many, like most of the top influencers in network marketing have built it through live video. When they got started, they sucked too. They were not masterful when they got started. They had the same fears you did. They had the same limiting beliefs that you did. They just did it anyway. Okay. If you took away my entire following, if you took away my entire database and you gave me nothing but one tool to build a following, I would do 1 to 2 live videos every single day. Like if gun to my head, you got to build a social media following, you got to go build a team in network marketing. You don't have any money. You can use social media. What would you do? I would do live videos every single day. Okay. We know that it works. We know that it works in a massive way. #1 way to build a following, generate leads, become an authority, make money. Why don't people do it? They're unwilling to overcome their own internal challenges. Okay. So if you're willing to simply break through these internal challenges and do it anyway, guess what? You can build a big following. You can make a lot of sales. Write this down. Okay. All excuses are justifications of your fear. Fear is what it all boils down to. So my coaching to you is this: let your courage overtake your fear. Let your dreams kick fear in the ass. Let your desire for growth drown your fears out. Let your excitement for the journey of you becoming an influencer and a leader override the fear. I'm telling you that you can do this. How do I know that you can do it? Because I did. There's no one in the world uniquely like you. No one in the world like you. There's no one in the world that can uniquely relate to people the way you can. Now, the people you relate to are different than the ones I relate to. The ones who relate to me may not relate to you, but the ones who relate to you powerfully wouldn't relate to me. Okay? I'm okay that I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I know there's people out there who will resonate with me if I'll just go put my message out. What if you don't have anything to talk about? Talk about the fact that you don't have anything to talk about. Turn that into a lesson. I've done many live videos. I've done emails. I've done posts on social media. And it's like, I don't know what to talk about today, but I'm committed to talking about something. It makes you real. People are like, oh, this is a real dude. He's struggling with knowing what to talk about. Okay. And here's the deal. Let your excuse be the reason. Like, if you don't like the way you look, do it until you get over that. If you don't like the way you sound, do it until you get over that. If you're afraid of looking awkward, do it until you get over your awkwardness. If you don't know what to talk about, force yourself to do a live video every day so you'll force yourself to come up with content. If you suck, do it until you don't suck. So I want you to answer this honestly. Like, let's have a come to Jesus talk. Answer this honestly. Like, how would it feel? How would it really feel to free yourself from being a prisoner to what's holding you back from doing live videos? Now, I get it. It's tough. But from a guy who let my own self-limiting beliefs paralyze me for years, I'm telling you that conquering these fears is one of the single biggest gifts that you can give yourself. And if I can help push you to conquer those fears and get free from those self-limiting beliefs, like gone, what would it feel like to be emotionally free from those chains that bind you? What would that feel like? It's the single biggest gift that you could give to yourself. And I'm telling you, it is the biggest gift you could give to me, Trish, and Ruth. To know that we helped you overcome those fears and get free from what's holding you back. I know you can. Trish, Ruth, they know you can. I hope you get, we are amazingly passionate about helping you step into your power. I want you to believe in yourself as much as I believe in you. I know you have it in you because I know what it's like to feel paralyzed. Just understand that the only way through is through. The only way to get over the fear is to do the thing that you're afraid of. So I'm going to get off my soapbox. Okay. And let's move on.
Well, Matt, I just want to say it's so funny hearing you say it and instead of being the one saying it, but you're so right on all of it. And I just love it. It's so good to hear somebody else be on that soapbox and just know that it's the same thing, but it's so, so true. So live video, as we're showing here, mastering the live video bonus. We really, really believe that live video is so important that we are giving you access to Matt Morris's course, right? The live video mastery. So you guys are going to love this because it's going to give you so many ideas on what to do, how to do it better, and just really help you along the way with what it is. And I know when I first got started, I'm listening to Matt and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, yes, to everything he said. Like, I didn't go back and watch my videos for a really long time because I didn't like my voice. I didn't like how I sounded. I knew I sucked, but it was okay. I was just going out there and doing it anyway. But the thing is when you can get to that point that you can go back and do these things, you really can conquer this. And I know 100% that live video is what helped us grow our businesses to where we grew it. And every other person I know that's really had that success, it's all started there. So I can't wait for you guys to really dive into this live video mastery.
So now we're going to hop into stories. So this isn't telling your story. These are the actual stories on Facebook and Instagram. So when you go to the top of your news feed on either Facebook or Instagram, you see all those little bubbles. Those are the stories, right? So first of all, stories, if you think about it, they are prime real estate on social media. I love thinking about social media as real estate. Where are all the places on social media that I can use as prime real estate, right? It's almost like playing a Monopoly game. So stories are prime real estate because they're right on the top. They're the first things that people see when they're on social media. And they're not affected by the algorithm, meaning the Facebook or Instagram isn't going to suppress them and not show them in the news feed. The stories are the stories and they're not suppressed. So we want to make sure that we maximize our use of stories to really attract people to us, to tell the story of our lives. I love thinking about stories almost like a reality TV show. So as I'm going about my day, it's super easy to do stories because as you're going about your day, you can shoot a little picture here, a little video there, quickly post it to Instagram and Facebook or one or the other, whichever you're using, and it's done, right? And you can have like a chronological, all the events of your day that are happening. But the cool thing is you can intersperse things in there about your business, about you using your products to create some awareness. So they're really, really effective because number one, people see them because they're on the top of the social media platforms. And number two, they're not suppressed by the algorithm and they can be super fun. So they attract a lot of attention.
There we go. So now we're going to jump into some of the types of stories. And I have to say, I think it's like Ruth says, stories are so much fun. They're easy to do too. Like you don't have to put as much thought into a story as you do a post or even a live for that matter, but you really can share so much with people. And so some of the different types now, they vary a little bit depending on which platform you're on. Some platforms give you a little more freedom with certain things than others. So one of the things I like to do, but you can do this either way, is I like to post on Instagram and have it go straight over to Facebook automatically. You can connect them. You can also go from Facebook over to Instagram. It depends on how you want to do it. But the reason I like to do it from Instagram first is you also can get in there and do some videos. And so there's a lot of different settings. Not only can you just start out by doing a text one, which is always great. You can, put some motivational text in. You can do pictures where you also add some text. You can add, you can add location to them. You can add hashtags to them. You can tag other people in them. Like there's so many different things you can do to get more people to see your types of stories. But they're simple, right? It could be text, which could just be the motivational. It could be a selfie, which could be you doing something silly. It could be you doing your workout, showing somebody what how you're starting the day. It could be pictures. You can do one picture. You can do many pictures as a collage on there that you can be sharing. So, I like to do that a lot if, on a vacation or something, you can take several of them and you can make a collage, or you can put them all back to back where you can, select a few of them at once to all post at one time. When you can do video, I love this because this is where you can really get into the storytelling, and you can even tell a story on something you've already been posting about for the day. So you can be putting teasers out of different things, put something out about some new products, and then you can go in there and you can do video in a couple different ways. If you're starting, doing it on the Instagram side, you can do like a hands-free video that you do, and it breaks it into little 15-second chunks that you can go in, and then you can put different words or hashtags or whatever in each individual one. So it gives you a lot of flexibility on that. You could also do a live video. The cool thing about the live video is that you can either post it so it can stay there, or it doesn't have to stay there. You can make it so it disappears. So it's a great way to go in and talk about your business or some of your products, because when you get done, it's gone. Nobody actually sees it unless they watched you live. So that's a great way to do it. Boomerangs are a lot of fun. I remember doing some of I love doing boomerangs. In fact, Matt has an ad out right now where you can see his book dropping off a balcony, it looks like, and you keep seeing it coming back. I'm assuming that was done through a boomerang. It was pretty cool, but you can have a lot of fun with those. And then another one, this is really cool, is you can do polls. And all of these are really good ways to get people to interact, especially if in your text, you're asking questions, but polls are really cool because you can do question polls where they do yes or no, but you can actually edit those words as well. They don't have to be yes or no. You can make them anything you want them. And you also, can do like a question where you give people different options on how they answer it. So you can guide them to the answer. They can pick, A, B, or C. So there's so many different ways that you can do the polls, but you can have a lot of fun, and they can also be super interactive as well. And like Ruth said, the really cool thing about them is they're not in the algorithm. So everybody's always going to see them at the top no matter what, and they can scroll through and see everybody's.
I remember when I first started doing stories, and you might, when you start doing stories, feel the same with all of the different options. I felt really overwhelmed. Like there's the text ones and the selfies and the videos and the boomerangs, and I just felt overwhelmed. And I decided that stories were powerful. I was going to use them. So I just started with one. I started with text. And then I kind of mastered text, and I went, okay, now I think I can post a picture. And as you learn them one by one, you're going to find that they're really easy. It's like everything in life. Something new might feel hard. It's not really hard. It's just new, right? And once you do it once or twice, you're going to be a pro at it. You're going to have tons of fun with them. And they're really effective because people like to see what your life looks like. People are curious. They want to see you. So stories are great.
I'm doing a story right now, by the way.
That's awesome. So here's some content ideas for stories. New product launch announcements. So if you think about your social media timeline and your posts and your live videos, you don't really want to be posting a lot of pictures of your products and things like that, because it looks kind of salesy and spammy. But what you can do in your stories is you can let people know that maybe there's a sale on. And, that story is there for 15 seconds and then it's gone, and it's gone the next day. So you can create awareness around new product launches and sales and things like that. I really like to, every day in my stories, be a product of my product. So I'm not necessarily showing my bottles or anything, going, buy this, it's the best thing on earth. I might be having something in my hand and telling some benefit of it, right? So I'm showing that I incorporate my products into my daily life. And that can be really effective, because as people watch, they go, what's she doing? I want what she has. And they'll reach out. So the other one is behind the scenes footage. So again, people are super curious, right? They want to see what's happening behind the scenes. They don't want to just see the perfect, curated picture or marked up picture. They want to see behind the scenes. So showing a picture of what your laundry room looks like. Mine's a mess right now. Showing what your office setup looks like, your lights, your desk. Is your desk messy? Show them, right? It makes you look real. Holiday message and offers. So as holidays come around, you could have messages in there about the holidays, holiday greetings, and various offers that specials you might have on your products or whatever it is that you're offering. Customer and team gratitude. I love these ones because it creates FOMO, fear of missing out sometimes. So when we have a rank advancement on the team or someone does something exceptional, I love to post it in my stories because I know people are watching and they're going, wow, they're winning. I want to be part of that, right? So it doesn't always have to be your personal recruit. If you're a part of a bigger team and someone is added or someone has rank advanced, you can celebrate that in your stories, right? Because your bigger team is growing as you're just getting started. How-to videos are also great in stories. And one little tip I have for how-to videos, people, when they're watching stories, they don't necessarily, want to play the sound. So there is an app out there. It's completely free. It's called Captions. So Captions, Captions. And you can literally record your video in the Captions app, and it'll put all the text that you're saying right over top of your video. So people will watch it in the stories. They'll be able to read all the text without you having to type it all. So that's an app that's out there right now. So how-to videos are great. They add value. They help people solve problems, right? When you tell them how to do something. And lots of lifestyle. Again, I personally like thinking of stories as almost like reality TV. So I'll show a picture of me getting ready in the morning with no makeup on and making a funny face, or people want to see that real life, and it creates know, like, and trust, and it can be super fun and super effective.
So I want to tell you guys a quick story. And before I even tell the story, one of the things to know is, like, if you're posting on social media, how many times should you post a day? I mean, typically once a day, minimum, at least once a day, you have a regular post, right, to your wall on your timeline, up to 3 times a day or so, right? That would be about the most that you'd post. Stories, you can really let it rip. A lot of the top influencers, they're posting 20, 30, 40 times a day. Like, to me, it's a little overkill, right? But you can let it rip. And here's the story. So when stories, this is years ago, when stories just started becoming really, really popular, I ran an incentive with my group, and it was something like, I don't know, sponsor, I did it to a small group, but it was like sponsor 10 people and you get to come on this adventure trip with me. So I wanted to go to Belize and go to the jungle in Belize and scuba dive the blue hole. Like, I had that on my bucket list. And so I'm like, I look at my bucket list and I'm like, all right, how can I do that this year? And I was like, oh, I'll do a sales contest. Like, someone produces a bunch and they get to come with me, right? And so I do this concept and I would pay for their flight and hotel. So one guy, it was just one guy that won it, and it was a 21-year-old guy. And like, always on social media. And I would do some stories, but not very often, it just wasn't a thing for me at the time. And he would literally go 60, 70, 80 times in a day, total overkill. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do an experiment. Anytime I see him doing a story, I'm going to do a story too. And I still didn't do it as much as he did, because, like, I don't want to be tied to my phone all the time. I actually want to live my life. But for 2 or 3 days, I did probably 40, 50 stories a day. And we were going into the jungle, we're climbing trees, we're going into caves, we're scuba diving, we're doing all this crazy stuff. And someone replied to one of my stories and said, hey man, that looks like a crazy adventure. What do you do? And I was about to get on a scuba diving boat to scuba dive the blue hole. I was going to be gone 12 hours. Normally I would have set up a call or something, but I was just like getting on the boat and I didn't really care that much. And so I go, here, take a look at this video. I'm getting on a scuba diving boat. I'll be tied up for the next 12 hours. Let me know how you feel about it. So I get on the boat, no connection. I get off the boat 12 hours later that night, and there's a message from the guy. He goes, dude, I watched the video. I'm all in. How do I sign up? So I sponsored a guy just from the stories. Okay. So if you're going on vacation, let it rip. Let people see your lifestyle. And the other thing, this is fascinating to me. I have sponsored a lot of people over the years doing trainings. So I'm at a training event or a seminar or something like that. I'll go to the front of the room and I'll take a picture with me in the crowd, and I'll say something about, at an amazing event today. And people want to know what the event is. And so people will reply, hey, what event are you at? And it starts a conversation. I've sponsored a bunch of people that way. I had a whole team. and just crazy work ethic, right? And they would do stories all the time of them presenting. And I was like, is that actually going to be like enroll people? Like they're just showing like selfies and stories of them presenting the business all the time. And they attracted people who wanted to be part of a business, showing people how to get financially free, things like that. So you never know what's going to hit people's hot buttons. And one of the things that's true is people want to be part of something. So one thing that people tag me all the time when I'm doing Zooms, they'll tag me in the post and they'll say learning from the best or learning from Matt Morris, and they'll tag me. Why do they tag me? They tag me because if I reshare it to my followers, now I'm exposing all my followers to them. So they may actually get more followers just because they shared me. And so that's something where you can tag, if you're at an event, you're learning from an influencer, you can do a story, a picture of the Zoom screen, something like that, tag them. And that's a way for people to go, hey, what's that training you're in? It's a way to start conversations. So be thinking about like, what are things that I can do in my story to create curiosity, to create conversations?
Love it. So hashtags, I love hashtags. And I remember when these first came out, I really didn't know what to think about them. I didn't really understand them. And once I've understood them, then I realized, okay, hashtags are a lot of fun. And so in a way, it's a label for content. But the really cool thing is when you're using hashtags in your business, you can use these hashtags to actually attract people to you as well. So hashtags are going to help you let people know, who are interested in certain topics, right? When you search it. But what you can do is you can research these hashtags for your avatar. So for instance, if you've got some weight loss products, right? You can research some hashtags and do, hashtag weight loss, hashtag maybe vegan nutrition, hashtag, let's see, whatever it is that your products are, hashtag greens, hashtag, plant-based protein, whatever it might be for you in your business. But what you can do too is if you're, depending on, where you're using these hashtags, they're going to do a couple of different things. Now on Instagram, what's cool is when you use these hashtags and you do a search up in the search bar, when you type in, for example, you can see here hashtag weight loss or hashtag weight loss tips. What it's going to do is it's going to tell you how many posts that specific hashtag has been used in. And depending on the number of followers that you have, you're going to want to break your hashtags down a little bit differently. And that's another deeper training, but just know that you can use up to 30 hashtags per post when you're using Instagram. And you can research them. Again, it's going to tell you how many times they've been used. And you want to use some that are a little smaller. Like you don't want to use one that's like 10 million or anything like that, because it's so broad. You don't really know who that audience is, but you can get more specific, just like with your avatar, when you get a little bit more specific on what it is, and you can get a smaller number of people, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, and use those different groups. You're going to start, those people who are following those types of posts are going to see your posts or have the opportunity to see your posts. And that's a way that you can use the platform to also get more followers. And what's really cool is you can also use hashtags in stories. Now in stories, you don't want to use as many. You're wanting to use maybe 10 to 15 hashtags, but you can use them and you can hide them so that not everybody can see all of them. You can put them behind the picture or behind some words. But again, what it's going to do is it's going to put your story or your post out in front of the eyes of those people who can use or who are following some of these hashtags. So it's really a great way to, again, find your avatar within some of these bigger groups and get more followers as well. So just making sure, and you can go through too. One of the things I did is, go through some of the influencers, that you do follow and look at some of the hashtags, but also get creative with your hashtags. When you start putting them in, I see there's one on here, it says discount travel. Well, if you're in a travel company, you could maybe check out, get paid to travel or, things like that, or, travel tips, or, just different things that are relevant for what it is that you're doing in your business. And you can have a lot of fun with this as well, but it definitely will help get you more followers.
And lastly, we're going to talk about targeted Facebook groups. So with Facebook groups, what you're going to want to do is really search for the groups that you think your avatar is hanging out in. And remember, your avatar has lots of different attributes, right? When you went through that process, you know the things they like, the things they follow, the books they read, the movies they watch. And so you could be looking for groups like that. So let's say you're selling weight loss products, just because we're talking about that today. It doesn't always have to be just a weight loss group. If your avatar is a single mom, maybe you're looking for single mom groups, or if your avatar really likes baseball, you could be looking for groups where it's, the topics around baseball. And you're going to look for these groups in the search bar of Facebook, and you're going to look for groups that really there's engagement in, that people are posting in. And I know Matt's got some really good slides coming up that'll demonstrate that for you. But once you're in these groups, you're going to want to, first of all, introduce yourself. So when I join new groups, I always do a getting to know Ruth post. And it's basically just, hey, I'm so excited to be in this group. This is who I am. This is a little bit about my story. I always make it relevant to the type of group that I'm joining. And I put a picture of me. That alone will get people connecting with you. And that alone will get people commenting on your posts, and you can, take those comments into Messenger and start conversations. So that's sort of almost like a welcome post. Here I am. Here's my introduction. That's a great way to enter a group and then engage in the group. So engage in the posts that are there and continue to post in the group, things that are relevant to the group, things you find interesting, and it will just create more awareness around who you are and get more and more people connecting with you. We like to use something called the CAM method. So comment, add as a friend, and then send a messenger message. So when you're in that group, you're going to want to comment on people's posts, or maybe people have commented on your post and you're commenting back. You can add them as a friend so that you're closely connected, and that messenger messages will actually be seen and not show up just in the other folder, which most people don't check. So you've got to be friends for your messages to be seen. And then you can start conversations, real conversations around topics that you have mutual interest about, or topics that were in the group, and create that relationship that will eventually lead to sharing your products or your opportunity.
All right. And so what groups should you join? First off, what are you passionate about? Here's a list of just, this is by no means comprehensive, but maybe you're into personal development, spirituality, fitness, travel, yoga, cars, health and nutrition. I mean, you name it, anything you see here, or lots of other things, anything that really here's the thing, overlapping. What are you passionate about, and what is your ideal avatar passionate about? Okay. And join those groups. Now, I would recommend join up to 10 groups with high levels of engagement. Now, here's how it works. My Zoom is cutting off the top here for me. Hopefully you guys are seeing this, but it basically, in the search bar, you can type in, I think spirituality is what this one is. And so you can type in spirituality, hit enter, and then hit groups. On the left-hand side, you hit groups, and it's going to pull up a bunch of different groups about spirituality, with spirituality in the description, right? And you can see how many posts a day. So 10 posts a day, 230 posts a day, 56,000 members. So that's a very active group. Okay. So that would be one that I would look at. So I'd go in there and I'd say, look, does this look like a group that I would jive with? Does my ideal avatar hang out here? And the thing I love about groups is if you don't have a lot of friends, if you don't have a lot of followings, how do you develop the following? So you can do live videos, right? And those live videos of the limited followers that you have, they can share it. And, eventually it may build a little. If you want to accelerate your following, get active in a bunch of different groups, add value to these groups. So just like you would add value on your wall, you can take like the material that you're going to put on your wall and you can put that information into the groups. Many groups allow you to go live. So you want to watch the groups, like read the rules of the group and follow the rules of the group. If they don't let you go live, don't go live, right? But you want to consistently add value to the group so that you can do what? Start conversations. And so here's a couple other examples. Stay-at-home moms. I just typed this in today. Stay-at-home moms, and then click groups, and you can see a bunch of different work-at-home, stay-at-home mom groups, right? I would recommend, like if it's a stay-at-home mom MLM group, like everyone in the group is already in MLM, that may not be your ideal situation, because I'm not a big fan of recruiting people from other network marketing companies, right? I want to support people's goals and dreams, and I want to add value to them. And if someday like they want to come join me, that's great. But the whole key is just adding value. Here's another one. Personal development. You can see all these different groups, 60 posts a day, 20 posts a day. There's some pretty active groups that you can get involved in and add value. And what happens is, as you're doing live videos in groups, and there's a technology called StreamYard that I use quite a bit. And you can actually, depending on the group, you may not be able to use it in all the groups, but sometimes you have to be an admin, but you can stream to different groups if you're an admin. Local groups. So just for fun, North Texas Vegans and Texas Barbecue Chapter, right? So whatever you're involved in, you can join some local groups as well. Now, here's the strategy, is the CAM method. So I took some screenshots here. And so Edgar here put a post in a group that I'm involved in. Now, this is the game of networking. This is a group, everyone in here is a network marketer. So it wouldn't be, if you're trying to recruit people into your MLM company, it wouldn't be an ideal group. Now, I sell to network marketers, books, coaching, all that. So that, could be a good group for me, for my target market. So Edgar put a post and I commented, right? So C is comment. So a great post, Edgar. And then I add him as a friend. After I add him as a friend, I put, dude, I love your posts. Where are you from? Okay. I'm starting a conversation. I'm not just saying I love your posts. I'm asking a question. Now, next week, we're going to get into deepening the relationship. And so in this case, he actually replied back and we went back and forth 2 or 3 times. Now, he's in a network marketing company. He wouldn't be a guy that I would recruit, but it starts a conversation. So you can do this several times a day. Well, I'll warn you, you don't want to go to Facebook jail. Don't do, one after another. You do 50, 100 of these a day, Facebook will probably throttle you and not allow you to continue to do that. But you could do 10, 15 a day and to your ideal target market. Great way to start conversations. Okay. Now, I want to talk about secrets to creating powerful captions. What is a caption? So if you're going live, it's what you put in the caption. If you're posting a selfie, a picture, a lot of times it might just be a picture of me and my family, or me and my girl, or it might be me doing something, whatever it may be. It's the caption, like how can you deepen this post? And you can do that in a powerful way through captions. And it starts, the most important, we've talked a little bit about it. I wanted to give you guys some examples here. You can take a picture. We'll have the guide to go along with this, and we'll make sure this is in there. But here's some examples. So how to deal with pain point, how to deal with, knee issues. Are you making these 5 mistakes in your social media, why you struggle to lose weight, how to survive divorce, how to overcome whatever it is, okay? These are examples of headlines. So the whole point is what's going to get people to stop their scroll and be like, ooh, I want to watch this. So one of the most important parts of any post is the headlines, especially if you have like a long text, then you want to have a headline at the top. So here's a question that people always ask, like, how long should the caption be? And I would encourage you to mix it up. But what I've discovered is more, okay? Sometimes people think like, oh, I don't want to write something really long. People won't read it. Let me tell you this, the right people will read it. So in many cases, I will write something where it's almost at the character limit, right? It might be 100 words, 200 words, right? Every once in a while, I hit the character limit and I've got to delete some, okay? So don't be scared to go longer with your captions. A lot of times I write emails to my database. I'll take those emails and then I'll use them as captions for social media posts. And if you're doing a long post, divide it into paragraphs for eye relief. It's harder to read if you have it all as one big paragraph. Sometimes in Instagram, they don't really allow you to have page breaks, lines between the paragraphs. And so a lot of times I'll type it up in my notes with the page breaks, and then I'll copy and paste it into Instagram. And so if you have that eye relief, the spaces in between the paragraphs, it's more easily to read about. Share your life, share your thoughts, your beliefs, your insights, share your pains. Vulnerability equals power, okay? I start a lot of them with, let me share a story. I said it earlier in the broadcast here. I said, I want to tell you guys a funny story. And then I told the story about beliefs. See, when you say quick story, let me tell you a story. I got to tell you this funny story. The word story hooks people. Okay. So a lot of times that's my headline is, hey, quick story. And people love to hear stories. Okay. And here's the point. Go deep in the story. Like, share your thoughts, share your beliefs, share your insights. How did you had an experience in your life? How did it affect you? Let people know how it affected you. Open yourself up. See, here's the whole thing. This is a secret to gaining trust, gaining rapport, getting a powerful connection, is when you open yourself up and you share yourself. If you're vulnerable, you give other people permission to share themselves. It's one of the biggest keys to closing people in network marketing is being vulnerable, sharing your why, share why and how things affect you. And that like really gets home with people. Okay. And then finally, of course, ask for engagement, which we've talked about at the end. Drop me a yes if you agree. What did this mean to you? Like, ask for engagement. So we're going to talk about our assignment. So your assignment, I know we've gotten a lot of information in this training. We want you to post 3 times using these strategies. So 3 posts at least within the next week. You should be doing every day at a bare minimum 3 times using this strategy. In fact, let's say 3 times before our Q&A call on Thursday. And second, go live. Like I kind of went back and forth, like, should that really be an assignment? Yes, go live. If you've never done a live before, go live, get yourself out there. If you feel so awkward, you can get on and you can go, hey, I've never done a live before. This is really awkward for me, but I had someone challenge me to go live. And so I'm doing it. And I want to talk today about, and make something up, right? You could say something I learned from this book, right? How I started a lot of my first lives was just me regurgitating information. See, there's a couple different types of influencers. Okay. There's the expert and then there's the reporter. Okay, the expert is someone who you're sharing how you've become successful. So in this coaching here, I'm being an expert. I'm teaching you how I've been successful in social media. Ruth and Trisha are teaching you how they've been successful in social media. When I really got started, I was a reporter in a lot of cases. It wasn't me being the expert. It was me reporting on something that I learned. So you look at someone like Tony Robbins as an example. Tony is mainly an expert, but he's also a reporter. He wrote a book called Money Mastering the Game. He's not an expert when it comes to money and investments. So he went and interviewed a bunch of the most successful people in the world when it came to money. And he put all their information in a book. He did a bunch of videos and he trained. He got on television and the news, and he was a reporter. It wasn't his information at all. He was regurgitating someone else's information. So if you're regurgitating information, you're still adding value to other people. So my friend, go live. If you feel totally awkward, do it anyway. I'm challenging you. You spent a lot of money to be here. You've put a lot of time and energy into this to be here. And I want you to get the value out of this. And I know I'm shortchanging you if I let you get off the hook. I'm crippling you if I don't push you to go do what I know you can do. Do you have to do lives every day? No, not at all. But between now and Thursday, go live. If you're awkward, go live. If it sucks, go live anyway. It doesn't matter. The key is to actually go do it. Now, maybe you've done a bunch of lives. We've got some powerful leaders in the inner circle here. I want you to go live using some of the strategies that we have given you. Watch yourself after you go live, engage in the comments, ask for comments, ask for shares, drop me a hell yeah if you agree, okay? So use some of these strategies in your live. And then finally, in your accountability groups, we want you to give your biggest ahas and what you're committed to implementing, okay? So meet with your accountability group, tell everyone your biggest ahas and what you're committed to implementing. And then, did you go live? This is an accountability group. So did you do it? And how was the experience and what did you learn? Okay, there's always a learning experience, especially if you screw it up. You'll learn more by your mistakes than you do your successes. And then anything else that adds value to the group. Okay, I want to finish off with this. And I was thinking about this today. And this is something I want you to remember for the rest of your career. It's something I want you to remember for you, and it's something that I want you to teach others. I want you to influence others with this. And it's very, very simple. It's just this: you're way better than you think you are. You're way better than you think you are. Maybe you've struggled. That's what makes you powerful. Maybe you've had a little bit of success and you've made $300 a month in network marketing. Understand there's millions of people who would love to make an extra $300 a month, and you can coach them. Okay. Maybe you've gotten over something. Maybe you've lost weight. Maybe you've used your product and it's helped you. There's millions of other people that would love to get the results that you've already gotten. And if you haven't gotten the results, show the world that you can get them, because you can absolutely do it. You are way better than you think you are. And if I look back at my career, if I go back to when I was 20 years old and I was an absolute prisoner to my self-limiting beliefs, I wasn't willing to step up into my role as a leader. I had it within me. I say into my role as a leader. I had that role back then. I just wouldn't accept it. Many of you are here right now and you are a leader. You just haven't accepted it. Every single one of you are a leader, but many of you haven't accepted it yet. When are you going to accept your calling? I let fear cripple me for so long, and I was so much better than I thought I was. When I got to 25, I was making a six-figure income, but I still didn't step into my real power as a leader. I was so much better than I thought I was, but I let these beliefs about myself cripple me. I got to 30 years old. I owned my own network marketing company. And the whole time I owned my company, I was looking for a president, a CEO, someone to run it, because I felt like I wasn't good enough. I was good enough. It took me joining other companies, watching the owners screw it up way more than I ever could have imagined to understand. At 30, I was so much better than I thought I was. At 35, I had a team of 100,000 people, and I still didn't step into my power as much as I could have. I was so much better than I thought I was. At 40, I had a team of over 1 million people. And I believed in myself so much more then, but I still was so much better than I thought I was. Today, I'm 45, and what I have to tell myself now is that I'm way better than I think I am now. I have a whole nother level. You have another level in you. So there's going to be so many times where you just have to accept the fact that you are a powerful leader. You may not feel like it in the moment, but understand it is in you. And it will emerge if you're willing to simply break through your fears and go do it anyway. So my friends, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your focus, and thank you for contributing to the groups. It means the world to me, and I am loving the success stories. Tune in on Thursday. We'll do our wins of the week. I want you to be intentional with creating a win this week that you share on Thursday. We'll see you on Thursday. God bless you guys. Good night. Love you.